Hello, this is Liam from the Babe Ruth Bucket Hour. We're going to be doing another podcast today. Today's subject will be, don't let short-term events change your investment goals. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about when everything in the world changes, there's always a temptation to make an impulsive financial decision. You know, all of a sudden the market goes down and we want to, scatter around and figure out what we're doing. All of a sudden oil or gas prices go up and we want to, sell our vehicle and get a car that's better on gas and, those type of things. Maybe the milk goes up $1 and now we're going to go to almond milk or something. A lot of times we do impulsive thinking at a small time of crisis, right? We have made multitudes of mistakes over the last year in 2020. And I wouldn't say the people have. I would say the people that are in charge of us have made multitude mistakes, and I think people would agree to that. But, we are where we're at. But I think if we don't fall into the trap of being told or being forced into living a certain way, I think you can be fine with what's going on no matter what the circumstance is. And I tell people all the time when I'm doing investment seminars or doing talks or doing consulting that circumstance changes all of our lives, yes? And the reason why I say that is because if, let's say that I get married, okay, that's a circumstance that's going to change my life. And then not too long after that, I have a child. That's a circumstance that's going to change my life. And not too long after that, I buy my first house. That's a circumstance that changes my life. Okay, so a lot of times when things are changing in the world, we make impulsive and incorrect decisions. Okay, so how do we avoid that? Well, one of the things is you can get with somebody and maybe bounce things off. You can talk to your pastor. You could talk to a close friend. You can talk to a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister. You talk to a consultant like us, a legacy consultant. So we'd be more than happy to bounce ideas off with you. But the main thing you want to do is you want to focus on what's best for you. And I tell people, just learn not to be impulsive. And I think you'll be in a good spot. You can keep your long-term goals and continue building wealth, okay, if you follow simple tips, okay? And if we hold steady when the market collapses, okay? A lot of times people will say if you don't just jump out of the market, well, here's my thing. If the market begins to slide, the best advice we give people is to put their money in cash. Okay, now, stockbrokers would tell you just the opposite. Oh, it's going to come back. But remember, every 30% you lose, okay, it's going to take 48 or 49% to get back to where you were. So sometimes it might be best just to move your money in cash, let it sit there, okay, and then when the market starts climbing again, jump back in. Warren Buffett is super at that. Okay, Warren doesn't just necessarily move all his money into cash, but he'll move a large percentage, 70 to 80%, okay, and then he protects himself. So I'm not saying pull everything out of the market, but I'm saying that if you see a slide or you see something or you feel uncomfortable, there's nothing wrong with moving your money in cash. Now, one of the reasons you'll be told not to by your stockbroker is because he doesn't get paid a commission. Okay, and that's unfortunate because whose money is it? Your money or their money? And in most cases, they think it's their money. The other thing would be is that watch out for the bubbles. Watch out for when things prematurely jump up, for instance. Okay, one of my biggest concerns with people that talk about buy gold and buy silver is they say to me, well, when should I buy it? And they say, well, silver's at $2,000 an ounce and it's going to go to $5,000. Well, okay, that may very much be true, but my problem is that if it's at $2,000 now and it gets to $5,000, who's going to buy it at $5,000? You got to, and then people say, well, it's going to go from $5,000 to maybe $50,000 because China's doing this and all these things are happening. And again, what are people doing? They're thinking on an impulse. They're not thinking logically. Okay. Now, those things could very well happen. They usually don't, but they could happen. Okay. Now, when you should have bought gold was not too long ago when it was $700 an ounce. That'd have been a great idea. Yes. Okay, but now it's up to 2,000, and they're telling you it's going to climb to 5,000. They say maybe, right? They don't know, and they can't predict that. They can't. But I ask you this: when was the last time gold was used as a currency? In Roman times. Okay, and my biggest concern is if you're buying gold, I got no problem with 5 or 10% of your portfolio being in gold. Don't get me wrong. We have it at Legacy Consultants. We can put you with the right people. We can get that taken care of. But never buy gold that's just on paper. Because see, gold on paper is called what? Money. And gold in your hand is gold in your hand, yes? And I have gone to so many houses and I've done so much consulting. People that say, here's my gold certificate. Well, if all hell breaks loose, who's going to bring you your gold? They're not, because they've got your gold, yes? But if you have your gold in a safe or you have it in a safe deposit box, then you have control of it. That's the only gold I would recommend that you buy, or silver or whatever else. But I'm telling you, you need about 5 or 10% in your portfolio, and that is it. Okay, so I would be real careful with that, and be careful with the bubbles, and be careful with the up and down. Because, like I said, even though you could be, a little bit tempted to be impulsive when it goes down, don't be as tempted as it when it goes up. Why on God's earth would you buy stock when it's high? I love the old thing where they say, buy low, sell high. Who's going to buy it? You should buy low, right, and sell high. Yes. Okay, so I'd be careful with, again, watching that bubble. Pay attention to government regulations. Pay attention to the changes that are going on. If they're making changes for different things, like, for example, the Dodd-Frank Act, it greatly affected the real estate market. And the new tax regulations affected how the investors allocate their assets. Pay attention to those type of things. You might say, well, I don't know how to follow that kind of stuff. That's fine. We have newsletters. We have consultants. We have brokers. We have tax analysts. We have insurance people. We have, you name it, we have it. We have Medicare supplement people, all under one roof with Legacy Consultants. So don't worry if you can't get the answers. We'll provide them. If you're not a member and you don't get our newsletter, we cover these things almost every month. So you're more than welcome to call us at 866-848-7688 or get us on our website, lcitaxfreeretirement.com, and I'm sure that'll be on here in a little bit on the screen. Be aware of the Federal Reserve's interest rate change. That's a big thing to pay attention to. The main thing you want to do on that is you want to make sure that, again, it's going to influence how the market reacts. It's going to again put people in a position where they're impulsive because they say, oh, the Feds are going to do this tomorrow, and the Feds are going to do that tomorrow. So just be aware of it. I'm not so sure I would change anything. Just kind of watch and see what's going on. Again, have a budget and a retirement plan. You want to know what you're going to have when you have the distributions. I had a guy talk to me the other day. He said, what kind of, I'm going to just start getting into the stock market. And I'm not a stock guy. We have a stock guy, Kevin Kretzmeyer, who takes care of that for us. And Kevin's always told our people that, hey, if it's new to you, maybe start with just a dividend stock. That way you have something coming to you all the time, either annual, monthly, whatever, and then you get a little feel for how the stock market works. Not necessarily get into the stocks where it's going up and down and it's scaring you and that kind of stuff. So a dividend stock might be a stock that you want to start with. Remember, if you own certain retirement accounts that you can take a minimum distribution out, okay, you got to remember that they bumped that now from 70.5 to 72. They changed the rule. So you don't have to start taking it at 70.5 if you don't want. You can take it at 72. Now, I'm an advocate for taking it at 59.5. People say, why would you do that? Well, we take that because, remember, regardless who's in the White House, you're going to get nailed on your 401k when you retire. And right now, I think it's at 40% or 35%, and it's going to stay that way or go higher. But let's just use 40%. So if I have $400,000 in my 401k and I'm going to get taxed 40% when I retire, okay, that's $160,000 I owe the government, yes? Now, if I had pulled that out at 59.5 and put that in a tax-free investment, similar to the Babe Ruth Bucket, correct? If I would have done that, I'd have had all my retirement money in 11 more years tax-free, plus I'd have whatever's left in my 401k, correct? So if you do that, that's a better choice and a better way of going about it. The other thing is they've changed the rule. You can no longer stretch your IRA to your non-relative inherited beneficiary. In other words, your wife can do it, but your children cannot. In other words, if you give something to a child as a beneficiary on an inherited IRA, they have to spend that money in 10 years and pay the taxes on it. They used to have 3 generations before you'd have to pay the tax on it. That's no longer true. So that can be a huge problem if you don't, if you don't fix that by either taking that money out at 59.5, or the individual that's getting it for 10 years takes it and puts it into a Babe Ruth Bucket or some other form of a tax-free retirement investment. Okay, so again, this has been the Babe Ruth Bucket Hour. I appreciate your time. Again, you can call us at 866-848-7688, or you can get us on our website, lcitaxfreeretirement.com. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you on the next session.